Hello everyone, and welcome to Yoshi Kenobi's Betrayal deck. Your creatures are mine, and that's the theme of the deck. So the theme of the deck is to steal as many creatures our opponent owns as possible, and then beat them down with those creatures. How do we do that? One of the key cards is the Draugr Necromancer, which means that whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls die, we exile it with an ice counter and we get to cast it for ourselves, and we get to use snow mana as any color mana. Then we also play the Trickster-God Heist, which will allow us to exchange a Woe Strider goat for any opponent's creature of our choice. Seems like a fair trade. Well, seems like a good trade for us, maybe not so fair for the opponent. We're also playing 2 copies of Zareth San, which allows us to steal stuff from permanents from our opponent's graveyard and put them on a battlefield under our control. And finally, we're also playing King Narfi's Betrayal, which will mill 4 cards for both players, and then we get to cast a creature or planeswalker card from each graveyard. The ultimate stealing divination. And to top it off, we'll put some bounty counters on the stuff that we can't steal, and just draw cards in exchange for those creatures. So this deck is not necessarily about ultimate synergies or mega powerful combos. It's really just about playing a fun team, which is stealing our opponent's creatures. And we'll have some fun with the games. I actually have some pretty fun games lined up for you folks. And yes, games are pretty fun, except for Yorion builds where there's only 1 creature. But we will steal that creature. At least that's the plan. We should be able to steal at least 1. Can we? Well, without further ado, let's see this deck in action with some games. Oh, I should wrap up the list. List has removal, and Elder Gargaroth. Pretty good against mono red. Also, removal. Alright, back to some games. We are playing King Narfi's Betrayal on MTG Arena Standard against Colonel Sanders, 33. This hand is worrisome, because we're playing 3 colors and we only have 1 color of mana. Then again, we mostly have 1 color of cards, so we'll keep it. We'll eventually draw all our other colors, exactly in the time that we want them to. Well, that's 2 colors, but we only get 1. So probably green for the Gargaroth. Opponent's playing Boros. Boros and puppies. So we note the dogs? Yeah, I'll kill the Houndmaster. You may have an Igneous Cure. Alright, well, time to pick a color. We'll go green. Go green or go home. As we Elspeth's Nightmare that dog. We'll get to scout our opponent's hand pretty soon. We do still have a bunch of removal. So your opponent plays a Watchdog. Dogs, Dogmaster, guy who doesn't like dogs, guy who likes horses. Alright, Embercleave goes away. We play this on green, and we cast the Draugr Necromancer. Then pass the turn back. Draugr Necromancer, which is going to allow us to, well, steal all of our opponent's stuff, really. One's playing a lot of dogs. That's a lot of dogs. We exile your graveyard. And play Chevill. You know what? I'll hit you with the Necromancer. And pass the turn back. We have Chevill on defense. Chevill on defense is unbeatable, right? Pack Leader? Pack Leader is a problem. Alpine Watchdog. Could kill the Pack Leader and then block the Watchdog. That actually seems pretty good. Especially since they're both going to come to our side. Join us. We've got candy. Alright, Zagoth Triome is going to fix the rest of our colors. since we have him. Pack leader is pretty good. Now let's pass the turn back. Fostley's Lieutenant. A little bit more troublesome, but then again, we'll just murder it. You know what? Now feels like the time for Elder Gargaroth. I think we have a free attack with these. Yeah, we have a free attack with the dogs. Should get in for 2. Then Elder Gargaroth. I'll pass the turn back. Coctos, the Unscarred. Weakness is 4. 4 is unfortunate. Also means it blocks Elder Gargaroth this turn. It's annoying. We probably want to cast a Murderous Rider. Could take the Alpine Houndmaster and just cast it. Woe Strider doesn't do it, so I'd have to side the Necro. I don't want to sacrifice the Necro to Haktos. Yeah, let's go with this. Kill the Houndmaster, draw a card. No, we don't draw a card because it's exiled. And we can't play this because I've spent mana for that. Well, that was a mistake. Should have killed the Lieutenant. Yeah, Chevill kind of counter-synergizes with Draugr Necromancer. They're both bounty hunters, but this guy just wants the bounty, and this guy just wants the zombies. They don't make for the best team. I do like Haktos, though. I would like one of those. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to cast it, though. Still gonna trade. Gets exiled. We'll put a bounty counter. Oh, yeah, multicolor. Put a bounty counter on the Intimidator. Zareth San the Trickster. One doesn't have much, though. Could go for Necro. Actually, we should probably attack with Elder Gargaroth first. Horn doesn't have very good blocks for it, and we'll get to draw a card. Gotta do things in the right order. Best block is probably Lieutenant Alpine Watchdog. Because this we kill both creatures. Maybe I should have played the Draugr Necro first. Well, let's play this on green. I put it on blue, didn't I? I'm talking, but I'm not really listening to what I'm saying. Let's pass the turn back. Opponent's going to be surprised with Zareth San. Selfless Savior is going to destroy that surprise, though. Igneous Cure. Opponent just keeps on playing more and more creatures for us to steal. Alright, fetch more dogs. No more dogs? I'm good with that. Alright. Opponent wants to pass the turn, we'll flash in our Trickster. Be confused, opponent. Be very confused. Now we play the Draugr Necro. Also play the Triumph. I'll move to combat, and I'll pressure with Zareth San. Then I guess the Alpine Watchdog is also a free attacker. Okay. I'm not attacking with the Pack Leader because I want to block with it. I do want to kill both creatures. I'll probably need to adjust the auto tapper to keep the snow-covered swamps on tap, so I get to actually cast the stuff that we were exiling with the Draugr Necro. I would have liked Selfless Savior to sacrifice himself. Ooh, attacking with the Intimidator. I want this Kargan Intimidator. Thank you. I'll take the Selfless Savior too. It's also pretty good. You get a trample for 1. I'm quite happy with that exchange. So now, what do we do? Selfless Savior seems pretty good. You can also play Woe Strider and Murderous Rider. And our opponent thought he would have the creature advantage. Little did you know that we'd be stealing all your stuff. Opponent doesn't have enough power to block the Draugr Necromancer, so we'll put your life total down. Like they say in songs, it's going down, down, down. Bolt Hound. And the opponent does the attack for fun. We're going to actively block. Sure, that seems fine. Iniskir can boost. Doesn't really matter. We'll sacrifice the goat. Time for some scry. The game is over, but it's still nice to resolve some triggers. Make it look like there's still something to be done. As we now have a hand of 7 cards from our opponent. More creatures to play, more creatures to steal. That's what we do. We're playing King Narfi's Betrayal on MTG Arena Standard against Shonsui 1. Yeah, we'll keep this. Going first, piece of small removal, a goat maker, a goat trader, and the ice producer to keep the goats fresh. As we'll pass the turn to our opponent, who's not playing Yorion, which makes me happy. Mono red. Excellent. Excellent indeed. Alright, I'll play the Clearwater Pathway, then the Backwater Channel, which will allow us to play Elspeth's Nightmare most likely. Kinda depends on what the opponent does here. If the opponent keeps the Bone Crusher up, we'll play the Elspeth's Nightmare. If the opponent plays some pressure, we'll probably play the Woe Strider. Elspeth's Nightmare it is. And now we're looking like Sultai control to the untrained eye. And to the trained eye as well, because people don't really expect Trickster-God Heist Draugr Necromancer when I go Sultai into Elspeth's Nightmare. Which is excellent. Everything is proceeding as we had foreseen. I guess Foretold's probably a bit more thematic. Opponent plays the second snow-covered mountain to Anax, hardened in the forge. We get a Thoughtseize, Embercleave or Frostbite. Embercleave. Why am I even hesitating? Obviously Embercleave. Alright. We're going Temple of Malady. Don't really care for Triome. Play Woe Strider. Now it's important to note that the opponent only has 2 red sources, so if they use the Frostbite, they shouldn't be able to play the Phoenix. And definitely not the Thorbrand. Unless they top deck a Mountain, which they did not. So there's 2 options. One, activate Faceless Haven, swing with both creatures, in which case we trade with Faceless Haven, then we steal Anax, and the opponent is going to cry. Or the opponent casts a Phoenix, attacks with just the Phoenix in order to protect Anax, which works even better for us. We get to exile your graveyard, so that Phoenix isn't coming back anytime soon. And then we play the Trickster-God Heist. And we will trade you our goat for an Anax. Trade accepted. Gotta love the trading system. Then we'll swing with the Woe Strider. And the Woe Strider will eat the goat as usual. It's typically what happens. Normally if you had a sacrifice outlet, but that also works. Opponent plays a snow-covered mountain, which is enough for Thorbrand. Though Thorbrand dies to Elspeth's Nightmare. Which is fantastic. And if you Thorbrand, you don't have enough mana, you don't have enough red to actually fire off your Frostbite. You can also Frostbite and attack with a Faceless Haven, giving me a puny 1/1, which I have no use for until we find the next Trickster-God Heist. Well, I guess we can always pressure opponent's life total. We do want to eventually win. Thorbrand. Kinda want that Thorbrand, but I don't think I can afford to let it live. Target 2 non-basics. I'm playing Snow-Covered Islands, so I guess I could use a Faceless Haven. And I don't really need the double green right now. Although I'm probably going to use black with the Clearwater Pathway. Yeah. Let's trade. Let's play this on black. Then we're gonna kill Thorbrand. Goodbye, Thorbrand. Now we will... Well, Faceless Haven's gonna attack. I kinda wanna block it. Anax is going to be a little weak. Woe Strider is going to be dead. No, actually the opponent now doesn't have enough snowlands to activate Frostbite and attack with the Faceless Haven. So let's attack with just the Woe Strider. And pass the turn back. We do have to be careful with our life total here. We will gain 3 life off the Trickster-God Heist next turn, which is a good thing. Opponent can now Frostbite and attack with a Faceless Haven, but do you dare Frostbite the Anax? Or are you going to offer me the trade with Anax? I'll block. We'll take a 1/1. That can't block. I would much prefer it if it could block, but it cannot. Actually, I really should have stacked it to the Woe Strider. Not sure what I was thinking. I wasn't. You will lose 3 life, and, well, bolt the Woe Strider, most likely. That was a free Frostbite opponent. Alright, well, Temple of Malady. Darkbore Pathway. Not what we're looking for here. We'll play our Draugr Necromancer. Pass the turn back. Opponent can swing for 6. I do want to be able to block the Faceless Haven with the Woe Strider, so I'll just attack with the Satyr. You go down to 13. And turn passes. As we exile your graveyard yet again. Well, actually on our turn. Phoenix of Ash. As they say, double Phoenix for double success. Not much we can do about this. It's not an Embercleave, so it must be Rimrock Knight. Rimrock Knight. 6 down to 7. Slightly dangerous territory here, but fear not, because we have the Draugr Necromancer. Black, colorless, black. Let's bring this Phoenix to Swift End. And then let's cast it again. This blocks the... yeah. So again, just the one. And pass the turn back. We still have cards. Our opponent doesn't have cards. And we have the almighty Draugr Necromancer, which really prevents our opponent from doing any meaningful damage with an attack. Opponent gets blown out heavily whatever they attack with. Except if they attack with just the Rimrock Knight. And the opponent sees it and resigns, not even attempting to top deck an Embercleave. Your creatures are too good for your own good. We are playing Betrayal on MTG Arena Standard against a Red Ninja. A Red Ninja is probably playing rogues, right? Another 2-lander. Let's mulligan this. 3 lands, no black, all cards costing black. We'll keep this. You gotta keep it at some point. We'll throw away Murderous Rider. Far away from casting it. Opponent's also mulliganing. I think they're down to 5. Alright, opponent down to 5. Draws a card to 6. Chevill Trickery. We draw Black Stars. This could be funny. Because we have the Trickster-God Heist. So if the opponent can get a Coma or something, then we get to steal it. Come on, Coma, Coma, Coma. Oh, not Ugin. I guess if we draw Black Stars, we kill Ugin. Yes! You shall pay for playing Chevill's Trickery. Where's the Happy Dance one? Happy Dance, Happy Dance. And that's typically when they play another Tybalt's Trickery. Yep. That's the one. Coma, Coma, Coma. Dream Trawler. Dream Trawler has Hexproof. Well, potential Hexproof. It's not gonna work as well. we'll try to fight it. We have a Woe Strider. Opponent draws a card. Playing the lands, crying. Take 5 from the Dream Trawler. Passes the turn back to us. Play this. Cast a Murderous Rider. Move to combat and hit you with a Woe Strider. Zagoth may stay back. I'll pass the turn. Then we'll stop at combat and Heartless Act that Dream Trawler. Which will force it to tap. Now the opponent's pretty much dead to Elder Gargaroth. So we just want to buy some time until we get to an Elder Gargaroth. This will help us to dig. Another Woe Strider. Yeah, I think we want that. It's extra pressure. It's extra pressure and it's a scry. There's also the possibility of overwhelming our opponent with attackers. Play this for green and pass the turn. It's going to be hard because the opponent's swinging for basically 10 every turn. Also, eventually the opponent is going to be able to cast stuff. And the stuff in that deck is scary. Very scary. So ideally if we could get an Elder Gargaroth next turn, that'd be great. But I'm not sure how much of the board I'm willing to sacrifice to go dig for that. The goat for sure. At least one scry. And it looks like it's all we're gonna need. Opponent's clearly not playing removal. Because if you're playing removal and that's what you're hitting with the Tybalt's Trickery, then you're in trouble. Elder Gargaroth has the turn back. Now the opponent didn't make it to 5 mana, 5 lands, which include the World Tree. So now the opponent has all the colors. Yeah, that's on 6. Yeah, 6 or more lands. You can't attack. I can force you to tap it. Or I can attack with just the Elder Gargaroth. That might be better. We're racing against ultimatums now. So we'll just dump our hand on the battlefield, presenting a lethal threat for next turn. Unless the opponent has a very successful Genesis ultimatum or an emergent ultimatum, then we should be in fine spot. Actually, we should win the game. But the opponent gets to play 1 card. Prismatic Bridge will not be good enough. And so, we win the game against Double Tybalt's trickery. We are playing King Narfi's Betrayal on MTG Arena Standard against Momi 28-7. Opponent's playing a Yorion build, so we won't be able to steal creatures, but we have Zareth San, which will allow us to steal other stuff. Hopefully, like Shark Typhoons. We will keep this. We do get to steal lands, or trade lands. Although we're in Sultai as well, so it's not as effective. Although maybe we'll be able to steal some of our opponent's lands enough to delay the ultimatum. Let's go, Woe Strider. May the goat be with you. Opponent keeps on playing Omens of the Sea, telegraphing the Yorion of Doom coming up. But the opponent's missing a green source, unless the opponent's just on Dimir control, which is a possibility. We haven't seen any traces of green yet. Opponent is planning on killing our Woe Strider. But we'll assume not and still attack with it. Well, actually it doesn't matter, we're attacking with it. Attacking with the horror. The goat can stay back. Heartless Act, I have no answer to that. I'll play the Zagoth Triome, trap, tap, and not cast the Murderous Rider because I do not have double black right now, untapped. So my 2/3 lifelinking pressure cannot get casted yet. Opponent plays a Wolf Willow Haven. Well, that's actually a decent steal. A Trickster-God Heist. Although actually I should go after land. That makes more sense. Wolf Willow Haven again. Opponent now has ultimatum mana. Elspeth's Nightmare will kill the goat. Pass back to me. So I have two choices. We either Trickster-God Heist to try and steal one of those lands, or we Elder Gargaroth. Then try to win the game on the Elder Gargaroth spot. Could also play Zareth San, but there's nothing interesting to steal. I think going Gargaroth is right. If the opponent has the ultimatum, we're pretty much dead anyways. Although Gargaroth makes for a fine blocker. The opponent will Tybalt, Kiora, and Arun's Epiphany, so I'd have to get rid of Tybalt, which leaves Kiora best Sea God. Or maybe the opponent's just digging for mana. Or digging for the ultimatum. I was gonna say digging for mana for Yorion. The opponent's just one short. Picking it up and casting it. Alright. But next turn. Next turn is when this hits us like a truck. That thing has flash, right? Yes. Elspeth's Nightmare will exile our graveyard. Yorion. I really wish I could stop the trigger, but I cannot. I would need counter magic for that. We're all about stealing our opponent's creatures, so we're not really playing counter magic. Alright. Come on, Mr. Trickster. Opponent scries through 2-3 times and draws 3. Dreadful. 2 to the bottom, it's a good start. My opponent gets to look up to 9 cards of their library. They will find what they're looking for, and we will be doomed. Yes, there it is, the scry to the top. Oh, get rid of that Yorion. Mostly so you get to revive it. That's right. Yorion! Get back here. You can flicker my Zareth San. Ninja Trickery. It's untapped now. They have removal spells. But removal spells don't typically do well against an ultimatum. I guess Extinction Event does just as well. But we have stolen your one creature. So we've accomplished the purpose of the deck. Another Zareth San. Trickster Extraordinaire. Ooh, I like that. Cracking a Nomen of the Sea. That means we'll get to pick it up. To the bottom. Opponent really does not like their deck. Keeping on scrying stuff to the bottom. But eventually there's going to be an ultimatum. Alright, let's try this again. Zareth San, the Trickster. Into counter magic, I bet. Omen of the Sea. Okay. It's not going to help you right now. Do we get another hit? Seems unlikely as there's a bunch of pauses. Do you have a kill spell, or is that just a Shark Typhoon? Probably a Shark Typhoon since the opponent cracked the Omen of the Sea. Probably trying to scry and then Shark Typhoon. Well, we'll get at least an Omen of the Sea. Elspeth's Nightmare is also tempting. As he Thoughtseize. Delayed Thoughtseize, but Thoughtseize nonetheless. No, let's go with the Omen. Murderous Rider, Woe Strider. Well, Woe Strider is pressure. We already have a pair of Murderous Riders. Let's cast, said Woe Strider. And pass the turn back. Our opponent's not playing enough impactful permanents. Opponent keeps on digging for that fabled ultimatum. And can't find it. Opponent must have seen most of their library by now. Okay, probably about 15 cards. Still a significant chunk. Shadow's Verdict. Okay, we'll take the scry. Sure, a 4/4 beater. Why not? You get rid of my Woe Striders. Binding the Old Gods. Well, unfortunately, get rid of Zareth San. Nothing we could do there. Except kill it in response, but that's not very responsible. So I'll play the Draugr Necromancer as our threat and hope that our opponent keeps on drawing lands. The good thing is that Binding of the Old Gods is going to shuffle our opponent's library, which means that all those cards that got scribed to the bottom may now end up on top. Opponent keeps on digging. I think that's the 4th Omen of the Sea. Still to the bottom. Cannot find that ultimatum. It is hidden deep into your opponent's library. Tell him to crack the Omen of the Sea in the meantime. No, no, we want threats. Speaking of threats, that's a pretty good one. Opponent has interaction. Although it's interaction that could have happened then. So it could just be the Omen of the Sea. Come on, no kill spell. Let my Elder Gargaroth rule over the battlefield. Also, we need this unlikely streak of the opponent whiffing to keep on going for a little while longer. Opponent's thinking about this one. Opponent cracks the Omen of the Sea. Probably finding the ultimatum this time. And there it is. Finding the Old Gods. Not quite an ultimatum, but deck titting and staying alive. Alright, well, we'll go Murderous Rider, Murderous... Well, we can only play one. That's the biggest threat we've got left, so it will have to do. Finding the Old God fetches a forest. Fabled Passage fetches another land. The opponent keeps on whiffing. It's almost funny at this point. Well, funny for us. Not funny for poor Momi 28-7. Wolf Willow Haven will make you wolf. And a second wolf. We'll eliminate one of them, because we don't have much to do with eliminates. And we'll hit you for 2 lifelink. Because unfortunately it's about the best we can do. Probably should have done that before. We'll put a 3-turn clock on our opponent, whose top deck is super live, because most of the lands are already on the battlefield. But there is still hope. Hope that our opponent will draw 3 lands. Well, there's one, but we need 3 more, because that one could cycle. Extinction event. Alright, we're in top deck mode. I do not like my odds here. And I think the odds are in my favor, because we top deck that Elder Gargaroth. Hit you with the Gargaroth. Make it 3-3. Pass the turn. Are you going to get through it? Finding the Old Gods. Opponent gets rid of the Gargaroth. Shadow's Verdict. Opponent gets rid of the token. Still in top deck mode. Passing. Opponent keeps on thinning their massive deck. And there it is. Well, we got close. Is there anything I could draw? I don't think so. Let's take an extra draw step. Vorinclex Valky is definitely game ending. Vorinclex Kiora is problematic. Opponent would get the tap all this turn. And you may have Vorinclex Kiora. Actually, if we draw like a Draugr Necro, we could be able to steal that Vorinclex. Yeah, I think our best route to victory is to steal Vorinclex. Do I want to kill it? That's now is the question. I think I do. Eliminate. Fortunately, that thing has X-proof. You gotta steal the land. Now, if we draw King Narfi's Betrayal, which we still have a ton of in our deck, we would get to cast Vorinclex. So we have a shot at winning with King Narfi's Betrayal here. It's not what we're looking for, but we need it now, because we will lose to that oversized Kraken. Although Krakens are pretty huge, so I'm not sure it's oversized. And we didn't get it. It's our turn to whiff. It's not on top of a library, and so we concede. This very close super land drawing game against Yorion Sultai Ultimatum. We are playing King Narfi's Betrayal on MTG Arena Standard against Dine Hazy. I can tell you, this game ain't easy for you. Alright, we will keep this. We have our namesake card, King Narfi's Betrayal, as well as Woe Strider and Zareth San. Do you want a bit more lands? We do have a removal spell, so we'll send that to the bottom. And we're on the play, so we don't need as many reactive answers as if we were on the draw. Opponent plays a snow-covered swamp, which is an interesting land to see. Maybe telegraphing Rakdos Sacrifice? Rogues? Yeah, I guess that telegraphs rogues alright. Let's just eliminate the Enforcer right away. While the shields are down. Fortunately, King Narfi's Betrayal is going to help rogues. Oh well, it is what it is. Let's play this for black and cast the Woe Strider. Elspeth's Nightmare is a good draw. It's probably one of the better draws against rogues. Remove a creature and pick out a drown, most likely. Or at least a removal spell. Or the infamous draw 4. Super steroided divination, as I don't typically call it. Opponent flashes in a soaring dot thief. Looking cool as it just soars in the sky. Looking at our abomination, that's a Woe Strider. Opponent swings, mills us. We will take the damage. 5 cards in the yard. Let's move to combat. Hit you with the Woe Strider. Or attempt to. Opponent might have other things in mind. It lands. We do need to draw some lands. I like playing the Elspeth Nightmare here, but I suspect the opponent has a drown, so let's try to beat the drown by playing Chevill. If the opponent doesn't counter Chevill, then it's alright, because we'll put a bounty counter, and start drawing some cards. And get even more value out of Elspeth's Nightmare. We do let our opponent play stuff like Brazen Borrower. That's okay. You just traded 2 mana of tempo for 2 mana of tempo. I'm okay with that. One cracks the Fabled Passage, but with just the Soaring Thought Thief we'll be at 7 cards in the graveyard. So Into the Story is not an option quite yet. You're missing that 1 card in the yard. We'll take the extra point of damage. Again, not overly concerned about it. The mill's a bit more problematic. Attack with the Woe Strider. Well, the biggest problem is the lack of lands. Hit you for 3, and now we'll play the mana efficient play, Elspeth's Nightmare, most likely into a counterspell. If the opponent counters, then at least the opponent will be able to cast the Brazen Borrower, adding the extra pressure. Now the opponents with the Into the Story mana. And that's the problem with rogues, they just squeeze you with so many different angles that you can fight a few angles, but the other ones are bound to get you. We take 2. Down to 16. Opponent has Into the Story up, but we draw our land. So land's pretty good here. Attack with the Woe Strider. 3 more damage. Chevill. Try to maximize the pressure. Yeah, I know, it's just 1 more point of damage. And I'll pass the turn back. Opponent will cast Into the Story, and you will respond by killing the Soaring Thought Thief. Mostly because I want to be mana efficient, and Chevill anti-synergizes with Heartless Act, because the Bane counter is a counter, so I can't actually kill the creature with Heartless Act. I can remove the Bane counter, which would be very counterproductive. So I'd rather just get rid of the Thought Thief now. So now I have a board and my opponent has a disgusting hand. Also note that Chevill's a rogue, so we get the Zareth San off of Chevill. But the opponent has no permanents in their graveyard, so it would be a little pointless. Although if we don't have anything to do, we might as well do that. Do I want to sack the goat? No, I don't want to sack the goat. Let's put a bounty counter on that Thought Thief. Murderous Rider. Well, let's start by going to combat. Attacking you with 2 creatures. Passing to blockers. So we get a Zareth San, or we get a Murderous Rider, or even Narfi's Betrayal. Do we have anything we can revive with Narfi's? Not really. We could target a Gargaroth. Let's just move the damage for now. Yeah, let's kill a Soaring Thought Thief and draw a card. Just want to make sure that thing doesn't get countered. And we get a goat. Well, we get a Woe Strider. A goat producer. I'm thinking about how I'm going to block that Soaring Thought Thief. Opponent's on 6 cards in hand, or 4 plus 1. We just need a bit more mana before we go for King Narfi's Betrayal. Opponent has a main deck Lurrus, brings out a Soaring Thought Thief. That's problematic. And the opponent chooses to pass the turn. We'll put a bounty on Lurrus. Snow-covered swamp will allow us to cast Elder Gargaroth uncontested. But before that happens, we'll move to combat. Hit you with Chevill and Woe Strider. Opponent will let us draw a card with Lurrus. That seems unlikely. And we'll sacrifice a Soaring Thought Thief. That's a very odd block. 18 cards in the yard. Elder Gargaroth seems like it could be backbreaking here. So let's go with the Gargaroth. We're not stealing enough stuff. I'm curious what the opponent's thinking. Maybe an Agadeem's Awakening? That makes sense. One kills the Elder Gargaroth. No surprise there. Opponent passes the turn back. Put a bounty counter on the Thief Guild's Enforcer. Alright. Alright. Trickster-God Heist. We have a bounty counter on it. Let's start with going to combat. I suspect the opponent has a kill spell for Chevill. Or the opponent will just trade. Which is equally fine. Soaring Thought Thief. Sure. We get to kill it. And now I would like that Soaring Thought Thief. Is that when we use this? Otherwise, you can Narfi's Betrayal, get Lurrus, cast the Woe Strider. Have 3/3. Let's make the mana efficient play here. Our life total is not under too much pressure. So we get Lurrus from our opponent's graveyard. And Draugr Necromancer on our side. Or the Gargaroth. Probably Necromancer. And we'll pass the turn back. Creature Planeswalkers. One plays a second Soaring Thought Thief. Now what do you do with them Thought Thieves? 22 cards in our library. We are starting to get milled, which is unfortunate. Opponents pondering on their options, thinking about balancing King Narfi's Betrayal with a Brazen Borrower. Should be slightly problematic. Opponent swings, mills us for 4. The mill is the real threat right now, as we go down to 18 cards in our library. When we have more life than cards in our library, mill is the threat. So I have to deal with these Soaring Thought Thieves. Another King Narfi's Betrayal. It's good, but it's not what I want right now. Let's play this on blue. We can go Draugr Necro and Lurrus. Let's go Lurrus first. I think we'll go Trickster-God Heist. Mostly to reduce the mill output of our opponent. Opponent can flash in a Brazen Borrower, although that doesn't mill us immediately. Yeah, Trickster-God Heist. Also, the drain for 3, that's the last mode on the God Heist, is going to be quite relevant. You may have a goat. Yoink. And now half of our board belongs to our opponent, who has just drawn a ton of cards. That's okay, we have the board advantage. For a very brief moment. Opponent casts a Lurrus. Has access to another Soaring Thought Thief, or Thief's Guild Enforcer. Goes with a Soaring Thought Thief. If she attack, you can mill me for 4. Wind Robber. The ultimate blocker. And the opponent has 2 of them. That's really bad for us. Opponent mills us. Get another Woe Strider in the graveyard. We shall not block. Now, let's go full control mode. Trickster-God Heist. It's not basic. Yeah, I can't actually go hit that song. Let's just move on to main. We may exchange control of 2 things. Opponent doesn't have an enchantment. We can trade lands, but that doesn't do anything. Can play a Draugr Necromancer as a start. So at the very least, the Wind Robbers are going to be ours. Then we move to combat and swing with Lurrus and Woe Strider. Opponent can gain some life by trading Lurruses, which will give us access to another Lurrus. So I guess we just casted that. Thanks to the Draugr Necro. Then we'll pass the turn. Opponent can mill us for 4 again, down to 8. To get to drain the opponent for 3. And we still have to surprise Zareth San, if the opponent doesn't block the Soaring Thought Thief. Opponent swings with everything, mills us for 4. I don't overly care about the damage, I'm really afraid of the mill though, so we'll just let that through. Then the opponent will side the Wind Robbers and go for the ultimate mill. Down to 6. Maybe I needed to block a Wind Robber. Or maybe the opponent is just desperate. You lose 3, and I'll gain 3. Down to 4. And here comes the lethal attack for us. as the opponent must have a hand full of removal spells. I'll see those now. Move to blockers. We only have one trick left, up our sleeve. And that trick is Zareth San the Trickster. Opponent flashes in a Brazen Borrower. Actually, we are going to use Zareth San, because that thing can only block our Soaring Thought Thief, but it can't block Zareth San. Oops. Really should tell me that I can't activate the ability, or give me the option, then gray out the ability so I get to cancel. Opponent flashes in Zareth San, so opponent now has 3 blockers. 1, 2... lifelink back, but we'll die to mill now. Is there anything else we can do? I don't think so. I think we just lost. Alright, that's game. And that's how it ends against rogues. They live with 1 hit point. Disappointing, but a close game. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It won't cost you any mana, and it greatly helps to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming. Until next time, may the fun be with you.